Hello, everyone. Welcome to sportsbettingdime.com. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Paul Costanzo. I'm an evergreen editor and writer with the site. And I'm joined today by Robert Linnehan, our regulatory reporter. And Rob, there was some big news that you broke about a week or two ago regarding Missouri sports betting. The new launch date is out and about December 1st. Tell us about that and how that came about.
Hey, Paul, thanks for having me. Yes, we do have a date for when Missouri will launch its sports betting program. That's going to be December 1st of this year, 2025. It's the last day, it's the deadline for when the Show Me State, will be able to launch sports betting. Yeah, basically, the Missouri Gaming Commission had hoped to launch. You've heard me talk now a few times. They had hoped to launch in the spring. They had hoped to launch in the summer. They had hoped to launch in the early fall. But with everything regarding licensing, all of the regulations and testing and precautions they have to take to make sure that everything is up and running, everything is smooth. They could not do that before the December 1st deadline. So yes, I did get confirmation from the Missouri Gaming Commission, from their chairwoman, Jan Zimmerman, that yes, it is not going to launch until December 1st, 2025. It's a little disappointing. I know a lot of people had hoped that it would launch maybe sometime a little earlier in the fall to sort of capture more of the NFL season and that big sports betting time, but it's just not going to happen. So luckily, all the Chiefs fans will be able to bet on the Chiefs when they make it to the playoffs and potentially get to the next Super Bowl, but you're not going to be able to bet on the first couple weeks of the NFL season.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the good news is when they're able to start betting, they're going to have a lot more information about the NFL season than they thought they would, right? But post Thanksgiving, it's the Monday after Thanksgiving. Um, I mean, that's a lot of football that will have been played up to that point. And we keep going back to football because that is the biggest sport for sports betting, and it's really not even close, right? So, like, we're talking about probably in the millions in sports betting revenue that could have been gathered, correct, between September and December.
Absolutely. The football season is the sports season where operators and states both make the majority of their revenue for the year. Football is king. You see millions upon millions of dollars are bet on football every single week. That's when the vast majority of revenues for operators come in. That's when the vast majority of tax revenues for states come in. By launching in December, I mean, Missouri is quite literally losing out on millions of dollars in potential tax revenue. You're basically you're losing out on more than half of the season. You're really only going to capture the last, I guess, 2 months and change of football. So they are going to be losing out on quite a lot of tax dollars by launching on December 1st. The good news is that they will be able to capture some of the season. They will be able to basically allow users and their customer base to bet on the entire playoffs, the Super Bowl, everything there. But they are going to be missing out on pretty much the majority of the regular season.
Yeah, and I'm here in Michigan, and uh, we launched sports betting in end of January, the year that it came out. And while yeah, they missed the entire regular season and most of the playoffs, they still did pretty well for themselves when that went. So I'm sure Missouri they'll be fine, but yeah, a lot of lost opportunity. One last thing. I know that we've started hearing, some news about operators joining up with different partners. When is that process going to really kick into gear where they're going to start going through like regulatory steps? Because in order to get ready, I guess, for that December 1st launch.
So right now, the licensing application period is open. As of, I believe it was Tuesday of this week, which was May 27th, the Missouri Gaming Commission had yet to receive any applications for retail or online sports betting licenses. However, the deadline to get those applications is not for another month or two. So typically, operators like to ensure that they have all the their I's dotted, their T's crossed when they submit these applications because they don't want to have to resubmit if they're missing information, if they're missing any data that they forgot to provide. So you can expect those to sort of roll in as the deadline approaches. We will know by September, about mid-September, all of the operators that have been approved and all of their partnerships. Right now, Bet365 has a partnership with the St. Louis Cardinals. That's how they're going to access the market if they do receive a license, and you can expect them to receive a license. BetMGM announced a market access agreement with Century Casinos, which is a casino company in Missouri, to operate online and retail sports betting if they do receive a license. Underdog has told me that they are interested in applying for a license. They're absolutely going to be applying for a license. We don't know how they're going to enter the market yet. And then, of course, you can consider, DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars. All the big operators will be there. I'm sure Fanatics will be there as well. But we'll have a better idea of who is receiving licenses, of who their partnerships will be, how they're going to enter the market as the months roll on here. But right now, everyone is still kind of getting their applications together, getting their partnerships together, and we'll see in a few months who's going to be there in Missouri.
Yeah, they've got about 6 months before this all goes live, right? So a lot to go through still, for sure. Rob, thank you so much for your information and insight into all of this and for joining me today.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. Always a pleasure.
All right, that's it for now. Make sure to check us out for all of the latest on the Missouri sports betting launch and everything about sports betting in general at sportsbettingdime.com.